Good morning, everyone. Here we're trying to get started again. This will be group leader update number 5, just doing the quick technology test. If you can hear me and or see me, if you can go ahead and enter into the chat, just say, hi, Kevin, we can see you, we can hear you, just so I know that we're fully broadcasting. If you don't know how to access the chat, if you've accessed this video through the NCYC group leader page, just click on the video, and then there's a YouTube link that comes up on the bottom right. Click on that, and you can view this video through YouTube and take full part in the chat that's happening there. So that's that. I'm just still waiting to hear any kind of confirmation if anybody can hear me or see me. Sometimes these things take a few minutes to get going. So if you can hear me or see me, go ahead and type into the chat, hi Kevin, we can hear you or see you. That would be awesome. So again, good morning, everyone. If you're just joining us, we're going to get started here in about a minute. But I'm just right now testing to make sure everything is working. And where did everything end up going? Again, testing just to see if this is working. So you cannot hear me or see me yet, huh? Interesting. Sometimes it takes a couple minutes to get going. That's interesting. All right, let me just see if we can do that. So I have started the Google Hangouts. It says I'm working. I'm just making sure that this is the right thing. Yeah, I'm trying with a different browser. I had to use Google because Firefox was not working anymore with this. So you should be looking at a screen that says NCYC Group Leaders live streaming event number 5. If that's what you should be seeing. So just let me know again if you can see that or hear that. That would be great. Again, anything yet? And if you can see me or hear me, that would be helpful to know. So far, I'm assuming nothing yet. So I'm curious as to why that's not happening. Anybody seeing or hearing me at this point? These are always fun, aren't they? Yeah, it looks like nothing's happening, and that's interesting. All right, so if you go to the that's fascinating. So let me go there too, and I can pop out the chat. That's problematic. All right. Well, at least this is working. If you guys don't mind, I'm going to take a couple seconds here, and I will change the link. You should be seeing the screen that says NCYC Group Leaders live streaming events. I'm just going to log into the here's what I'm going to do. I'm actually going to stop sharing the screen. You should be able to see me now. Somebody's calling me probably to tell me that they can't see me. Like, that's helpful. I'm going to real quick reset the web link and on the website. So bear with me just a second, just in case other people are trying to get to us. All right, so you got and I'm working on 3 different browsers here, which doesn't make it easy. So bear with me. I'm going to quick make a change just in case anybody joins us late, and we can use that other website. I'm curious as to why this is all happening. Of course, it would be interesting if there was actually an answer to that, wouldn't it? All right, let me just see here. So how's everybody doing? I guess let's just have a nice cordial conversation. Chat amongst yourselves, I guess. Here's a fun topic of conversation just to get you started on a Friday morning. Let's see, St. Peter or St. Paul, who was the best leader to start our church? Okay, go. Did I say Friday? I thought I said Friday. Okay. See, my web connection is really slow too, so I'm wondering if that might be part of the problem. All right, you can see me now with sound. Hi, everyone. I'm just really quick changing the link onto the group leaders page so that everybody who's coming in late can get full access to where we are right now. At least that's my hope. But as all things, it's spinning. You know how that goes. Doing a live broadcast and accessing the internet at the same time is pretty challenging. So here we are going to make one quick change. And we'll see if that makes all the difference. That's really taken a long time. All right, so tell you what, while that's going on, I think I can go ahead and get started at this point. So let's just jump right into our update for the month. At this point, just seeing that I've got all y'all on chat, and I changed the link on the website so that people should be able to join us. They should be able to. Well, it doesn't look like it. It looks like there's just a link there. I'll fix that later. All right. Apologize for the mess. So I'm hoping everybody's with us. If not, we'll figure it out later, and they can always just watch the review. So at this point, you mind texting me if you can see the slides. Just say NCYC Group Leader Live Event number 5. And if you can see that, that'd just be great to hear. Just send me that in the chat. That would be awesome. And then we'll just go ahead and jump in. Anybody seeing the slide that says NCYC Group Leader Live Streaming Event number 5? All right, thanks, Allison, for your prompt reply. All right, good job, everybody. All right, so let's dive in. Just real quick updates on some of the details and some of the specifics, and you can jump in with questions anytime you want to. NCYC is going to be, again, a significant portion of this morning's conversation, but we are going to use it to transition into something much bigger. So that's just what we do with these things. Our current delegation is 1,874. That's as of this morning. We have emptied out the waiting list. So if you had any spots on the waiting list waiting to be added to your group, they were officially added to your group. You should have received somewhat of an automated email that said that and indicated as much. In addition to that, all of the charges for your April payment have been posted to your account. So if you log into your group leader portal, you should be able to see all charges for your April payment and your additional spots if you've picked up any new ones. Or if you've sold any spots, you should be able to see credits listed. Those charges have been sent down to the finance office. She'll be sending out invoices sometime soon. I can't tell you when that's going to happen. Finance office is swamped. So that does include the A team. So the 1874 does include the A team, which is this year up to 28 people that are going. The A team is the group of adults, volunteers who come just to support you behind the scenes, stuff credentials, walk halls while you sleep, that kind of thing. We're having 28 people this year, and I'll get to the slide that says why it's that much higher. From this point forward, I'm trying as much as possible to lock in group size. We do know that there's typically some flexibility between April and July. So I want to leave that window slightly open. So if you need to make changes, there's still possibilities of doing it. But what I'm going to try to do is start working on hotel assignments so we know which group's staying at which hotel. That's going to have some effect on how I ask you to fill out those rooming list forms. One of our hotels, for example, we're going to try to put 300 people in a hotel that has room for 5 or 6 person rooms. So we can put 5 or 6 people in those rooms in the same kind of density that we'd put them in a normal 4-person room. So if you're in that hotel, I want you to know that so you can give me those listings. Now, I can't do that until I know that our group sizes are kind of staying the same. So if you can do me a favor, just real quick, while you're watching this, if you can just let me know if your group is absolutely solid, no more changes ever going to happen, or if there may be something else. I'm not saying you got 5 people right now on a waiting list locally. I'm just saying even if you think there's some rumor, some talk, some chatter about whether or not your group's going to change, possibly, just even a hint of possibility, just go ahead and let me know. So just so I get a sense of how stable our groups are as far as their sizes. If you think your group's the same size is going to stay between now and next November with a high sense of certainty, you just let me know that too. Just go ahead and type in how your group's doing, and I'll keep talking. So changes from this point forward are going to be, they're still possible, but I would just say at this point, do not promise anything to anyone. It's my job, and Jim and I work hard on this, to allow anybody who wants to go to get to go. But that becomes increasingly difficult the closer we get to NCYC. So my hope for you is that if somebody comes to you and says, I'd like to go to NCYC, is that still possible? You just would need to say, yes, it's still possible, but let me call the Archdiocese and find out how possible it is. Please don't just say to anybody, yep, we're going to make it work. Absolutely, let's get you in the group. At this point, I just cannot guarantee it at this point. All right, so here's a map of Indianapolis. If you can see my mouse, to the east here is the city of Indianapolis itself, where we're going to be going. And this is just to give you a rundown of the 5 hotels that we've been assigned for this year. We have a Wingate property, which is about 3 miles north of the rest of the group, right off of Highway 465. We'll have 4 buses, about 220 people staying at the Wingate. We have a Hyatt Place. This is a property we had last year. We only had 8 rooms there last year. This year we're going to have 80. We'll have 6 buses pulling into the Hyatt Place. The Hyatt Place is the hotel that allows for high capacity rooms, so 5 or 6 people and teenagers in those rooms, and probably 2 or 3 adults in each room. We have the Crown Plaza, which we've had since for the last 4 years, or our 3 NCYCs. That's a nice place. It's the most expensive property. Has a nice atrium, great staff to work with, pretty nice rooms. That's a good place to be. We'll have 9 buses there. The Wyndham continues to be the largest group that we're going to have. This is the site of our mini rallies. So they have the largest ballroom space. We'll have about 750 people staying there, or about 14 buses. And then tucked them right behind the Wyndham is a courtyard, and we'll have just 2 buses there with 40 rooms. So these 5 properties are the hotels we're going to get. And we do have an awareness of kind of how we're going to divide these up kind of for the Archdiocese, but nothing is for sure at this point. I did last week just for fun. I put together a sample bus assignment, hotel assignment list, and within a day it was broken because somebody grew their group and it didn't fit anymore. So this is just the way we just do work here. Everything changes all the time. So we do hope to give you more clarity. Probably in August we'll be able to give you an assigned bus and hotel, but I don't know that I can promise anything until those July payments come in. Just to touch base on about the forms again, the individual registration forms online, those are what you need to collect from your young people and your adults so that you can register them on the group leaders portal. Just to be clear, the online registration has to happen from you into the group leaders portal. It's a pretty easy process. You just log in, click on the participants button, and then start plugging in the information. It's pretty easy to do. If you have any questions, let me know. We already have about 1/3 of our group have completed that process. So that's way ahead of where we were last year, and I appreciate all your work in doing that. The Archdiocesan Youth Form is unique to your parish group. It should have been emailed to you. If you did not receive that, please let me know. The Archdiocesan Adult Form and the Hotel Rooming List Form are also on the website. You can grab those, download those, and have them in. The forms do not have to be done, and the registrations do not have to be done. Notice that word have to, until September 1st. on September 1st, we are shutting down your access into the group leader portal. You'll still be able to log in and see everything, but you will no longer be able to enter anything. That's because it takes us a full month at least to process all the forms and make sure all those names that we have are matched up with all the paperwork we need. That's a very detailed process. And so we need to start the process of doing our online registration on September 1st. So yeah, Michelle, thank you for getting all your forms in. And registered. Other groups have done a lot of that too. Just the question about how we're coming with getting forms completed, the youth liability form, the adult liability form, and the hotel rooming list. We've already received 2 groups, which is way ahead of where we were last time. So again, I appreciate that effort. If there are changes that need to happen between now and then, let me or Jim know, and we'll work with you on that process to make that work. So yeah, you give all the forms to me at the PLSD, Martin. That'd be perfect. The priests do need to fill out the adult form, and adults do the liability form. Adults do the adult liability form, not the youth liability form, just to be clear. The adult form is just 1 paragraph. It's a very simple thing. Father can fill that out on the bus if it's the only time he can get a hold of them, Patty. That's great, filling out the forms if you can't have those meetings soon to do that. So let me know how those are coming in. If you can't get those to us, in late August, if that's the only time that's realistic for you, I will take them. But we just know that it's going to be so much easier for you to see your young people now than it will be in August, because August is crazy with school starting and programs aren't in session yet. And like I said, our absolutely hard deadline is September 1st. Once you get past September 1st, there's going to be a lot more difficulty, and there's going to be late fees that are attached to processing those forms. And the registrations, it just becomes tough. So let's shoot for as soon as possible. Okay, cool. I did add 1 date on here to the list of chaperone training sessions. We are going to be in Dubuque, October 22nd. Please make sure you mark your calendar for these events, the ones that are nearest you, and start making sure your chaperones know that it's highly encouraged for them to be present at these. If you've got parents who have kids going, but they're not attending NCYC and they want to come hear a bit more about the program and what we're going to do to ensure a safe environment for their kids, they are welcome to come to these trainings as well. Everybody's welcome, but really highly encouraged that all chaperones take part in them, just so they get a sense of the mission we're trying to accomplish and what their roles are. Again, it's a service we provide. We have not in the past recorded and posted them, but I may do something like that as a makeup session that people can do in November. Just post a video online like what we're doing right now. Except for it would work, not like we would spend the first 10 minutes trying to find a connection. All right, class. What's the most important date of NCYC 2017? Whoever enters it in first wins pride. Anybody? The most important date of NCYC 2017. On your mark, set, go. What is it? What is it? What is it? Who knows it? Who knows it? Nobody's playing. You guys are boring. Come on, get in here. Monday. That's close. The Monday after NCYC, a little bit more detail. We're looking for Monday, November 20th. Let's get the date locked in. Every day after that is the most important part. So we're going to keep focusing. Marcy, you rock. Well done. We are going to keep working towards what we're going to do to follow up NCYC with a heavy part of what we're talking about at these updates. Last month, I talked a lot, but I talked a lot about imagining a youth ministry that fits into the comprehensive nature with the 8 components of youth ministry as they're identified in the document Renewing the Vision. If you did not see last month's broadcast, please go back to the website and review it. There's a good section in there of questions to reflect about comprehensive youth ministry for conversations with your faith formation commissions and with your pastor, with the parents of your community. I want you seriously asking the question about what's going to happen next. What I'm going to do just here is give you a few practical possibilities followed by a very strict challenge. Okay, so I'm going to throw these out for you. What I'm listing here are possibilities. These are not mandates. These are not the Archdiocese said we have to. But I want you to start thinking about some of the specific things that might jump out at you and say, we can do that. That's going to be perfect for our parish and for our group when we get back. Okay, so one of the first things to think about is some kind of small group ministry. A lot of you might already be taking your NCYC groups, or your NCYC group, and breaking them into small groups. If you're Annie Zietz and have 167 people going to NCYC, my hunch is you're not all hanging out together all the time. So a small group delineation or distinction for NCYC might already be helpful. So here's a chance to take that small group from NCYC and do something to keep them going when they get back. Or maybe you break them into different small groups based on whatever their interests are and how that can work. So basically, 2 adult leaders with a select small group. We're thinking about a half dozen to a dozen teenagers in a small group. I mean, it's a half dozen is probably pretty large. And to take them and go where they feel like they need to go. So there's a lot of programs out there that can help you with this. If you have any questions about what we should do in small group, like Why Disciple is the big program in the country right now that's small group based, specifically in helping young people grow really deep in their faith in a social setting. Possibilities for gender-based topics on theology of the body, where we can have a men's small group or a women's small group. There's ways to do small group ministry. I'm just encouraging you to consider maybe this is the thing you want to take on when you get back. Another possibility is really leaning deeper into some kind of a formal catechesis option for people who are sophomores through seniors in high school. If you see the chart on the bottom right here, this is total enrollment of high school kids in parish religious education programs in the Archdiocese for grades 9 through 12. And it doesn't sadden me so much that they're not necessarily in classroom model religious instruction. What bothers me is that we're just not engaging them almost exclusively. We're just not engaging them. So if you want to start doing some kind of a deeper growing, maybe at the developmental level of a junior or a senior in high school, you can do a lot more with them in depth if you wanted to. You can use any major publisher's textbook. LifeTeen's really good at cranking out resources to help you with these sessions. My hope is that you would be able to invite people, not require them, but invite them to a quality program that's going to meet the issues they're concerned about. But when we're talking about formal catechesis, we're also talking about a systematic curriculum, something that's deliberate and we know what we're trying to engage people in, which is different than just topic nights or open sessions where they can just come and talk about whatever they want to talk about. So it's a deliberate plan. We do have resources to help you kind of steer that topic if you want to. The high school religious ed curriculum that we have in the Archdiocese might be helpful for you and moving that forward if you think this is what you want to invest in. Another possibility is simply large group topic sessions where maybe once a month or once a week if you want to. The time frame's up to you. We're going to have a talk or a presentation about blank, whatever it is, and you can bring in guest speakers, or you can have the pastor come in and do a presentation, and you can just have this be just a fun opening informal gathering where maybe you come in, listen to a presenter for a half hour, talk about it for a half hour, and then eat pizza and ice cream or whatever it is you want to do. It doesn't have to be too formal, but it's a way to, again, get the conversation to continue doing catechesis. And these are the kind of events that parents might bring their kids to, because parents, we know, are just as curious about growing in their faith and learning about their faith as their teenagers are. So again, just another possibility. I think we all know works best is some form of experience of faith, and basing all catechesis or ways that we help young people grow in an understanding of the faith through a personal encounter or an experience of the faith. We know how effective service trips are, so service experiences are a great way to have an experience of what it means to be a Catholic alive in the world. Liturgical rituals like Stations of the Cross or pilgrimages. Also tactile learning. So just this past Wednesday, I did a church tour with about 15 eighth graders and let them touch things, and they got to touch chasubles and dalmatics and albs and sacrorums and all kinds of other fun Latin words. So thanks for sharing, Martin. So just some ideas to share with the group. Also, I would say one of the most powerful things young people experience is retreats. and I can tell you a little bit more about why I think this in a little bit, but there's a lot of research that indicates that taking kids away from their quote-unquote natural habitat is effective in helping them slow down and just reimagine the world. So programs like Tech or Kairos are hugely effective. But one of the things I'd like to challenge every parish in our diocese to do is to make available for their young people some kind of a non-required, in other words, not confirmation, some kind of an optional retreat that's available for their teenagers to opt into, to spend a bit more time. And I'm thinking something deliberate, at least one overnight, a 2-day event, if not a 3-day event, to go away, get out of their habitat for a while and do some processing. So those could be thematic. And so it could be a Lenten retreat or an Advent retreat, or maybe you're going to focus on theology of the body, or whatever it is that you think your kids really want to go and dive into. There's a lot of retreat manuals out there that can help you design a retreat. Again, if you need help, just let me know. We can walk through some ideas. Socials are really important for young people. We have this rap that youth ministry is just fun and games. Of course, youth ministry is not just fun and games, but if you're not having fun, you're not really doing good youth ministry either. So don't forget how important it is just to get people together and celebrate being young in a safe environment. So if they see our church as a place they can go and hang out, the odds are they're going to lean into our programming a bit more. So just some possibilities. The one at the bottom there, this was something that was kind of surprising to me, but there was a parish that I used to work next to that would do LAN gaming nights where kids would come in, bring their computers, plug them all into a local area network, and do whatever kind of gaming these kids did. It targeted a very different audience, but it was hugely effective for them just to bring kids in and be themselves and be goofy. So hey, get together and play Minecraft or something. I don't know if that's still a thing. All right. Be present. Another possibility to structure and organize how you and your adult volunteers, your small group leaders, and the rest of your parish staff are going to deliberately make time to go and be where young people are. So maybe the only thing you do when you get back from NCYC is you step up your game to go out and be with them, and you recruit your chaperones from NCYC to also go out and be with them. Like sporting events, music events, other things in the community. If there's a parade, wear your group's NCYC shirt or your archdiocesan NCYC shirt, or wear something that identifies you as a representative of your parish. So this is just a way to acknowledge that your young people are active in the community and that your church's boundaries don't stop at the door at the back of church, that your parish is in the community active where your young people are. And when I was in parish ministry, that was one of the most effective uses of my time, was to go out to their events. And I did it as a competition with a group of us that would go to a football game or a basketball together. Whichever one of us was able to identify 6 people by name and talk to them for 30 seconds, whoever could get to 6 people first would win. And so it was a fun, competition between other volunteers and my parish and myself. It forced us to know their names. It forced us to learn about what was going on in their lives. And there's some people who don't have the ability to go to those events, but they're able to look through newspapers and clip out articles about these young people and shoot them an email or a letter, including the newspaper clipping that says, "Hey, I saw you in the paper. Good job. Just want you to know your parish loves you and you're important to us." I mean, if that's old Aunt Ethel, who's homebound and can't do anything in youth ministry, but can let people know, or your young people know, that we care about them, that's a great way to empower ministry moving forward. Which brings me to other non-gathered possibilities, like social media, having a YouTube channel, one that works. So if you give a link to people, it's actually the right link, etc. Mailing birthday cards. I like birthday postcards, by the way, because then the parents get the postcard and get to see everything you're saying to their young people at the same time, and their parents build some kind of cool ownership over that too, as well as newsletters and websites. And you can have young people write those articles or pieces that are going to be emailed out and shared with your parents and your teens. And empowered leadership. That we cannot underestimate the role that empowering young people to lead youth ministry is going to play. So when you get back, maybe you take your NCYC veterans, the people who've been there twice, and say, okay, what are you going to do to serve the parish deliberately, rather than inviting them into a program that's going to be about forming them directly, but maybe invite them to be a VBS or a TOTUS TUIS leader, elementary catechist aide, or heck, put them in charge of a small group of freshmen or sophomores with another couple adults to steer that conversation as a peer leader. So I throw this out. This is my challenge. This is the big woohoo. It's fun to throw out a monthly calendar like this, and I know some of you have calendars that are quite busier than this is. This only has 1 or 2 events every night. Um, there might be a lot more than that. So in this calendar, I just said, what if this is a medium-sized parish, and I mean that medium-sized parish that has 6 small groups. Um, and so those small groups typically meet on Sundays, but there's some kids or adults that cannot do small group on Monday or on Sunday, so they meet on Monday or Thursday. And maybe the one on Monday meets at school before school starts at 6:45. Okay, maybe the one on Thursday meets right after school. There's flexibility built into the small group model. In addition to that, on Tuesdays and Fridays, there's school events where whoever's representing the parish community is actually not at the office, but is out hanging out and watching and cheering for kids. Now, that doesn't take all night. It doesn't take all afternoon, but just to be present, again, see 6 or 7 kids, have a conversation with them and move on, not too time consuming. Formal catechesis, I just plugged it in on a Wednesday night because that seems where it fits in our diocese. On the first Saturday, we do a service day. The third Saturday, there's a retreat that goes into Sunday. That Sunday, the retreat ends with a large group topic night where the whole parish is encouraged to come and hear how the retreat went or whatever else. And then that last Saturday, we're going to just a fun scavenger hunt or something goofy. All right, now this is a big, busy, complicated, and comprehensive youth ministry program for a parish. Now, I don't want you thinking that I'm telling you this is what your parish programming needs to look like. The reason I put out this calendar is not to get you to feel bad or inadequate but we're a rural parish, it will never work here. That's not my hope. My hope is just to get you to see the variety of possibilities of how a calendar can look and how varied it can be. My deepest fear is that a lot of our parish youth ministry calendars are not done by the month, they're done by the year, and November 16th to the 19th is the only thing on it. Like that's not where we need to be if we're going to be effective in leading young people deeper into the church. So here's a few things just remembering. What would it take if we really wanted to expand youth ministry to be as comprehensive as it can? Well, the first step is taking a step back and acknowledging a couple things. First, the way you engage your parents and build relationships with the families of your community is critical to how you're going to move forward with the youth ministry. If I were to start parish ministry starting July 1st, and I was hired, we have nothing going on in youth ministry, I would spend the first year without doing anything for teenagers. I would spend the whole first year just getting to know the parents and the families that I'm serving and ask the questions what they want. And from that relationship, I would start building the programs that are going to meet the needs of our young people. It's so important that we get the parents into this conversation. Second, you need to recognize that you are not the ones who is going to make everything happen. This is not your ministry underscore. This is the ministry of your parish community whose task it is, the mission of the church is to evangelize, which includes forming young people in the faith. Please don't feel like if you don't do it, it's never going to get done. You have to let that go. You have to find some way to get other people involved in this ministry. And so start thinking, if there were people who had passions that were not yours, how could you easily grow your parish's ministry if you were not the one who was limited to your time or your passions? But if this was really the parish's ministry and there were all kinds of adults and volunteers and leaders coming forward, imagine how your parish could grow. And that's kind of where we need to start thinking philosophically, this is not just you doing it. I really believe in diversifying your ministry portfolio. One of the things that I think we've learned in parish ministry is that one size fits all fails most. If we only do one thing, we're missing most people. In my experience, when I've had one program, I've had kids who could possibly get something out of it, who were looking for something deeper, but they were bored because I was only gearing myself towards those kids who didn't want to be there, and I was doing everything I can to just get them to have a positive time, but even that wasn't going to work because they were so resistant to anything I had to do. So in my efforts to hit both of those audience, I hit nobody. So what I learned to do was just split that programming into two, where I did an advanced catechesis program for those kids who wanted more, and I did an invitational program that looked a lot more social than catechetical for those kids who didn't want to be there at all. But that ability to do like a tiered programming or to diversify how I'm going to meet each audience allowed me to be more effective with both audiences. But it meant I had to do twice as much work. And so that's the challenge. When you diversify, it does require more effort, but it does hugely bigly, I'm using bigly, it's going to bigly affect your programming effectiveness, okay? So just to slow down, when we're dreaming big, it's really important to know that this is not your expectation to be there tomorrow or even in July or even November 20th. But to start thinking now about what could this look like 5 years down the road or 3 years down the road. I was just talking to a young person in ministry yesterday who's in her third year of ministry and is seeing some good changes happening, um, and knew going into it that she was going to give herself 3 full years to start being effective and starting to see the fruits of that. And that's exactly how I want you feeling about this. Keep your mind open to where we're going. We're dreaming big. We're going to keep expanding our comprehensive ministry. But this is going to be a slow process that develops over the course of years when it becomes appropriate to do so. So you're going to find volunteers that come in, you're going to say that volunteer would be perfect at helping me with NCYC fundraising, or that person would be great with doing a presentation maybe to young people about a Eucharistic devotion. So once you start seeing people as giftedness that you can bring into your program, you're going to know when it's appropriate to start expanding and offering things. Also, you're going to try things that fail miserably. That's part of the growing process. So don't be threatened by failure. It's just one more thing that didn't work at that point, but you tried something, and that's how you grow a program. So dream big, but go slow and be very deliberate, kind of a long-term plan on how you get there. And that's going to change your ministry from being the one who's doing everything to kind of the one who's managing everything or coordinating your ministry. So you're going to be managing adults and volunteers, small group leaders, establishing them into relational ministers rather than being the sole person who's responsible for your parish to be in relationship with all young people. That's just not realistic, and it's not effective, and it's going to burn you out in a hurry, and it's going to leave your parish without much youth ministry when you leave. So the more you can work at empowering them, changing your perspective to I'm the one who's the youth minister, to the parish is the youth ministers, and my job is to coordinate their ministry. The more you can start changing that title deliberately, the more likelihood you are of growing your ministry and staying in ministry for the long haul. So build ownership of the parish's youth ministry. If there's parishes near you in a cluster or in a deanery or however, or in a metropolitan area, do what you can to not duplicate services. I'm just really excited when I see how that works with the communities that we know of, where one parish will do something well and other people will just encourage their kids to be part of that, and then vice versa. When they're sharing ministry, they duplicate opportunities without having to duplicate the work, and that's just brilliant. So the more we can start encouraging programs that, quote, aren't yours, like they're not your primary responsibility, but your young people can benefit from that. The more we get ourselves out of the formula, the more we're able to expand with limited work. So that's always just a good thing to do what you can to make sure you're promoting those things that are around you, even if it's not your favorite thing, whatever it is to encourage opportunities. And then again, most finally, just think with the end in mind. This is Stephen Covey language. So think 10 years down the road, not for your programming, but for the young people. If you have a 15-year-old that's coming to NCYC, I want you to think, what do you want for that person when they're 25? So what is your hope for your NCYC delegation 10 years from now? The fun thing is we are starting to collect some information from 22 to 29-year-olds about what their experiences were like being formed in the faith. And we are learning a little bit about how they feel about programs that they've done when they were teenagers. So 10 years down the road, what do you want them to say about what it means to them to be a Catholic? And our job, I think, in the long run, is that youth ministry is really about transitioning teens into fully practicing adults who are on a lifelong journey with Christ and his church. We don't do that by just pulling teenagers away from the parish, but by fully integrating them into it. So we need to teach our teenagers how to be parishioners. That's such a critical step for us. And one of the things that's a great way to do that is full intergenerational involvement in the liturgy. Again, following up to NCYC, this is critical because some of the feedback we hear consistently from NCYC is that they loved the liturgies at NCYC so much that when they come back, they don't want to go to their parish's liturgies. That is wholly unacceptable. So we need to do two things. We need to do what we can to advocate for strong liturgy in our parish environments. So as a youth ministry leader, advocacy is part of your responsibility. So as much as you can to advocate for strong intergenerational full integration of our young people into the mass, which means young people should be invited into the choir. If your choir is rehearsing at 1 o'clock in the afternoon on a weekday, you need to speak up, because that means our young people, who are often more talented vocally than the adults in those choirs, we need to make sure they have room in there. If they can be ushers, they can be lectors, they can be ministers of Holy Communion. Whatever it is for our young people to be plugged into, we want them feeling ownership over our parish's weekend celebration. So one thing you need to do is advocate for stronger full inclusion when they get back from NCYC. The second thing we have to do is help our young people to understand that the liturgy that they experience at NCYC is the same Mass, the same. It transcends space and time. It's the same liturgy they're coming back to. The Jesus they encounter at NCYC is the Jesus they encounter at your parish every Saturday night or Sunday morning as well. So help them to help catechize your young people that when they get back, that NCYC does not end with a high Mass on Saturday, but is continued the next weekend as well. So do whatever you can to build that continuity and liturgical engagement. So if I were your pastor, if I were parish council chair for your parish, and I heard this presentation, I would say very clearly to you that, okay, you're doing NCYC, but you need a plan for what you're going to do for Monday, November 20th. So here's my challenge. And this is a challenge because as a diocesan director, I only have the power you let me have. So I'm not going to close your parish. We're not going to kick your group out of NCYC. I have no power to exert muscle and scare you into anything. But here's my challenge. I would like from each NCYC group leader a spelled out plan for when you return from NCYC. Could be a paragraph, could be a sentence, it could be an 18-page detailed goals and objectives plan. What are you going to do to keep NCYC alive, to keep our Catholic faith alive for our young people on Monday, November 20th and every day after? So what I'm going to challenge you to do is take these questions in mind. What's your plan? What do you need for it to be successful? What can you do now to prepare for success? And what can my office do to help you, or the whole Faith Formation Division, or heck, the whole Pastoral Center? What can we do to help you accomplish your plan? I want you to talk this plan through with your Faith Formation commissions, with your pastor, with your parents. If helpful, again, go back to last month's live streaming event and review those questions that were reflective on renewing the vision, and work through that process as a group. I am dead serious. Energy that needs to be put into moving our church forward for our young people next November. This is the reason I wake up every morning, and you're going to hear it from me consistently. So if it seems like I'm nagging you, good. Okay, that's what I'm trying to do. So put together a plan. Again, I don't have the ability to enforce anything, but I just really want you thinking strongly about this. I just hope you're not thinking NCYC's just something we're going to do for 3 days and be done. So there's your challenge. I hope you take it seriously. Now, diving into a few more just things that are important to think about. To move your plan forward, one of the things you might want to do is make sure you're getting formed in some of those possibilities. And the easiest thing to do for that is just next month coming up, Friday, May 5th to May 6th, the Youth Ministry Leader Conference and Retreat. If you haven't signed up for this yet, please go to the Archdiocesan website and do so today. Make yourself a note. Heck, if you just want to tune off this webinar from this point forward because you're going to go log in, do it. This is going to be a great day on Friday, May 5th. Frank Mercandante from Cultivation Ministries is going to come talk about building a parish youth ministry. I mean, it's really helpful stuff. Frank's one of the leaders in the field. He is known across the world about being an expert in young adults and youth ministry formation. So please do what you can to sign up to be a part of this. If you just want to come for Friday during the day, there's a significant price break. The cost is not $95. If you want to spend the whole weekend at the Stone Center with us on those 2 days, that cost is $95, includes all of your meals and lodging and the speaker's fee, etc. You know what? It's really hard to know if you registered or not. Heck, Martin, and my guess is you haven't yet. If you do register twice, don't worry, you will not be billed twice. Well, unless you say you're going to pay by credit card. So if you click the bill me later option, I promise I won't bill you. I think that's got to go through me anyway. So that's a weird question. Technologically, it's harder for us to do than you'd imagine. But if you're not sure, just go do it again and sign up for both days if you're not sure. Okay, that was a little bit deviant. But please, if you are available at all that Friday, this would be a good thing for us. It would be great to have everybody join us Friday to Saturday, because that's just a great way to build community. Starts Friday morning at 9 o'clock. The presentation will go from 10 o'clock till 3 o'clock. We do have some diocesan updates. I want to make sure everybody hears on Friday morning. Pretty important update pieces. Okay, thanks, Michelle. If you signed up, you should have gotten a receipt email. Okay, here's one more thing I need from you. This is totally not related to NCYC, except for it's critically related to NCYC. We are doing currently a youth synod survey. This is to prepare Archbishop and Pope Francis for a conversation about young people, the faith, and vocational discernment. We need as many young people ages 16 to 29 to complete these surveys as possible. I'm asking you to very deliberately target two different audiences. If you've got older sophomores, juniors, seniors who are still meeting in any capacity, 16 to 18-year-olds, please encourage them to fill out the survey. The link that we're encouraging you to use for that audience is the one that ends with HS, like high school youth synod. The survey is the same. It just goes through a different collector so we can track who's filling it out when. But if you only want to record one of these, it doesn't matter which one you use. Also, very important as much as possible, there was just a bulletin announcement possibility in the official bulletin on Monday. If you can get that bulletin announcement in your bulletins, whatever you can, put notes in the pews coming up this weekend or next weekend, inviting anybody who's 22 to 29 years old to go to this survey here. It's about a 15-minute survey. It's pretty long. 15 minutes is a long survey. It's pretty extensive. We ask a lot of good questions. The important thing here is that 22, 29-year-olds who might only come to church on Christmas and Easter with their parents, we want to hear from them. So whatever you can do to deliberately target that audience is going to be huge for us. What we are seeing, by the way, just so you know, the people who have filled this out are indicating which programs they've attended, things like NCYC or Catholic schooling or tech or Kairos or service trips. And we get to see what they think about those experiences 5-10 years down the road. So really helpful for us to hear about that from a programming perspective. That's selfish on my part, but also on how is the church doing and walking with them as a youth or a young adult in the church. It's really important feedback. So as much as you can put these links in front of people, that would be awesome. We will not be doing a live streaming event from Iwalu on that May 5th, I don't think. I think it's the week after that. Real quick on this one, April 20th, if you're curious about this, the National Federation for Catholic Youth Ministry is doing an NCYC update, and they are inviting us to let you know about this as well. You can learn about the featured speakers, sneak into the thematic park, and catch a glimpse of other pilgrimage highlights. There's the link there. I know it's quite lengthy. If you want me to email it to you, just shoot me a quick email and I'll cut and paste and send it to you. That's pretty easy for me to do. It's probably easier than you typing in 5590823494356733433, whatever. So just let me know and I'll send that link to you. There's more coming up on that too, and I'll keep you posted. There's going to be one that's going to be listening to keynote presenters coming up in June. There's going to be one specifically in May about how to engage parents as partners. I will email out the registration link, Allison. Just shoot me an email and I'll reply to it. And and I'll do an update too. I'll probably try to include it in that when I send that out this afternoon. Okay, just moving forward, we are working on planning our chaperone appreciation dinner. The dates we are looking at right now is either Tuesday, January 30th or Sunday, the 28th. We're hoping to do it on a Sunday, but there's things that make that difficult for us. We just think we might get more people coming on a Sunday night rather than a Tuesday night. So just so you know, those dates are what we're thinking. We are working with the Dubuque Area Vocation Awareness Group to bring in a speaker. So there's a lot of conversation going on, but just pencil in those dates for our NCYC Chaperone Appreciation Dinner. Whew, that was lengthy. I apologize for the duration. Are there any questions at this point that I can address other than the ones you've already shouted out in the chat? So again, thank you for being here. Our next live streaming event, I'm going to see if I can find that date for you somewhat quickly without having to break something. Our next live streaming event will be Yeah, it'll be the Friday, May 12th at 10 a.m. again. So it's the week after the group leader, the Youth Ministry Leader Conference. So that would be great. Um, yeah, the April 20th is the PLSD. If you wanted to sneak out in your car and watch it there, you could. I don't pick the dates. That's just when it is. So if you're not going to PLSD, that's something you can do instead. Okay, thanks, Martin, for pointing that out. Any other questions or comments? Can we have 5 people in a room? That's a great question. The answer is only only six buses full of people will be able to have the 5-person room. Generally speaking, that's about 20% of our audience. Chelsea, just knowing that you're from the Northwest side and knowing what hotels you're going to be in, I'm going to say no, not for you. That's the people staying in the Hyatt are going to be a part of wave 1, which are people who are in the south and eastern part of the diocese. So to answer your question, I can probably tell you 98% likely that you will not be staying at the Hyatt. Good question, though, and I'm sorry. So those of you who are on the southeast side of the diocese, the odds are higher that you'll be at the Hyatt, but I won't know that until further down the road. Any other questions or comments? If not, you are welcome to log off at any time. I hope you found this to be helpful. Shoot me an email with any questions. I do hope to send out another email update, like I said, pretty soon. I'll get that link changed on the website, so this recorded video will be there, if I can find out how to do that. Okay, anything else? Shoot me an email or let me know. I'll just stay on here for a few more seconds just in case there's any more questions. Otherwise, thanks everybody for everything you do. Get those post NCYC plans put together, share them with me. It would be great to share them with the whole group so everybody can kind of see what everybody else is thinking, and maybe we can compare ideas that way. That might be kind of cool. Yeah, it's not my job, Chelsea, to make your job easier. Sorry, it's my job to make you miserable. That's what I excel at. So yeah, I understand rooming lists. You can put them down as 4 if you've got. You can put them down as 3 and 2. The odds are I'll probably put the 2 that are by themselves with another group of 2 from a different parish. But that's how I'd recommend doing a group of 5. If you've got somebody who's super brave and like, I just want to go meet people, you can put them down as a single, and everybody else is a 4. And then I would put that single person with another group of 3, and then they can meet 3 new lifelong friends. Any other questions? You are all awesome. Sort of. Yeah, you know who I'm talking about. You know who you are. All right. Good. I will see you all later. Okay. Thanks everybody for joining us, and we will see you later. Email me with any questions if you need to.